Welcome to your Past Week in Politics. I'm Joe Matz. Earlier today, OSU got a visit from Linas Linkaitis, the foreign minister of Lithuania. He has been in the U.S. for the past week celebrating the 70th anniversary of NATO. Zach Varda, the Lantern campus editor, and I got a chance to sit down with him for a face-to-face interview. President Trump has openly questioned Article 5 of the NATO Pact, which requires all NATO nations to respond to an attack on any one member state. Despite this, the U.S. and Lithuania signed a defense roadmap agreement earlier this week that the foreign minister seemed pretty happy with.
This agreement is for 5 years, quite comprehensive. Military cooperation has to do with exercises, training, this cooperation in the cybersecurity issues, and it has to do very much with the presence of U.S. troops on our soil, which is very important. As I said, it's for 5 years, so it's really good. I would say very concrete agreement, and illustrates the status of our relationship these days.
We asked the minister about why the average American should care about defending Lithuania and other Eastern European countries from Russian influence.
I was defense minister when we sent first platoon for peacekeeping mission within Danish battalion to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I remember first casualty when first officer died, and I, as a minister, I came to parliament to explain what happened. You know, it's always not very popular, and this is also a legitimate question, why? So when we are facing threats which have no limits, no borders, we have to be united regardless of the size. So the reason very clear. And even if you are a superpower by size, economy, needless to say, this is not enough to be leaders. If you're leading the free world, if you're leading, that means you're also assuming responsibility.
Lithuania declared its independence from the Soviets in 1990. Today, the foreign minister says that they face hybrid warfare attacks from Russia that NATO states need to be ready for.
Because we are members of NATO, so nobody going to attack in conventional way. I hope so, because I'm saying madness has no limits, but maybe there are some limits. But conventionally, it's already we are already offended. By energy, we were blackmailed until end of 2014. 100% dependence of gas supplies. Cybersecurity, maybe few doubt that this is the problem. It's growing, it's increasing, it has to do with the meddling into the political affairs, elections, it has to do you can undermine banking system, you can undermine strategic communications. I could say you even can activate Article 5 if necessary. Or, as I'm saying, brainwashing machine, becoming, and media is weaponized. This is something what was overlooked for a long time. It was taken as a natural. And we among those who were saying that, look, I was always saying that lie is not alternative point of view, you know, lie is something else. When our friends and neighbors Russians saying, look, we think so and it's our alternative point of view, say, no, if you're deliberately spreading lie, this is not alternative point of view, it's not dialogue. Say in short, we have no reasons to doubt about security guarantees provided by NATO, but on the other hand, we cannot feel relaxed. And we are really vigilant and concerned about the situation around.
In a Q&A session with Professor Jeffrey Trimble, a student pointedly asked the minister if NATO is just a front for U.S. imperialism. He responded by comparing imperialistic activities by the U.S. and Russia.
Is it necessarily something very bad, or it's a natural process which should be also used? You know, what is imperialism? If imperialism, if you're doing something at the expense of sovereignty of other countries, of course it's bad. I don't think US is doing that. If somebody does, it's Russia these days, at the expense of other countries, at the expense of territorial integrity, of the rights to choose their future. And they're doing that as we speak. So that would be an answer.
Here's Reggie with some Ohio politics updates.
On Tuesday, Ohio legislators approved the Transportation Budget Deal, a proposal to increase the state tax on gas by 10.5 cents a gallon and the tax on diesel fuel by 19 cents. The final results were a 70-27 vote in the Ohio House of Representatives and a 22-10 vote in the Ohio Senate. It was signed by Governor DeWine Wednesday. Originally, Governor Mike DeWine proposed that the tax be increased by 18 cents per gallon to prevent a transportation funding crisis in the state. This final version of the tax will fall $300 million per year short of his original proposal. The revenue for this new tax deal will be used for the maintenance and construction of roads and bridges and will go into effect July 1st. In other news, U.S. Representative Tim Ryan for the Youngstown area announced that he is running for president.
And I can go back just a few weeks where my daughter called me crying from school because her friend was crying to her. Her dad just got transferred at the local General Motors plant. The kids had to move.
Yeah.
And my daughter called me and she said, "You got to do something." And I said, "I'm going to do something, and I'm going to run for president of the United States, and we're going to make sure this doesn't happen."
Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the warmer weather this weekend. Es muy caliente. We will see you back here next week.